Hey, and welcome back to the Sweet Madness Podcast, where we talk about everything sweet and everything mad and everything in between. And if this is your first time here, well, you've picked a great episode to get acquainted because it's story time. Yay! And just like story time when you're a kid, you sit on the floor. So I'm sitting on the floor today. It's what my body wanted. I listened to my body. Try that more often if you don't. My story has to do with a moment that stuck out in my life. And we all have those moments, right? Some of them are happy, some of them are tragic, and some of them make you want to punch the fudge out of a freaking wall. But then there are those moments that, in retrospect, you realize are the stepping stones to who you've always wanted to become. And yes, they shape who you are today. But I'm talking about those ones that drove you to the thing that motivates you every day. Your purpose, your calling, your belonging, your why, whatever you want to call it. It's the thing that makes you feel most like you and pushes you to make some sort of difference in the world with it. And if you're not already thinking of one of those moments right now, just take a second and think of it. You probably have one. I know you have one. And you know what? It makes you feel all the feels, wall punches, and all. So when I was in high school, we're in story mode now. When I was in high school, I was a theater kid. I did every show every year from 7th to 12th grade. My school was a junior high and high school together. Yeah, what a time that was. My senior year, we had a new director who switched up our musical culture in the school, if you want to say that. We tended to do high energy, feel good musicals. And then this new director came in and suddenly we were doing Titanic. Yes, Titanic is a musical. And so here we are. We all had to convey loss and death in a school without a theater or acting program as teenagers who've never had the slightest bit of experience with tragedy on that sort of scale, let alone have never done a dramatic show. And also, how the fudge were we going to make a boat sink on stage? Where's Jack and Rose? How the fudge do we create the whole door scene? Is the car scene included? We're allowed to do that? These were the thoughts that went through our heads. The questions just kept coming and coming and coming. And to be clear, the musical has no association with the movie at all, except that it was based on the Titanic sinking of 1912, April 14th to be exact. And also the musical and the movie just so happened to come out the same year. The musical was first. And I hate to burst your bubble, but Jack and Rose are fake. They were not real people on the Titanic who had this Romeo and Juliet tragic love story. There was no door. They did not let go. She did not live to be 100 years old and throw away an insanely expensive gem into the sea. They were characters created specifically for the movie. And I can go into a whole film industry perspective on why and a whole writer's perspective on why, but totally not why we're here. So imagine the disappointment of being a teenager in 2011, hearing that you're doing Titanic the musical and there is no Jack and Rose. Then going to hear the music for the first time. And I must say, my initial gut reaction to it was, I hate this. This is boring. This is stupid. This is going to be a train wreck. Flash forward to rehearsals. Our director was the best thing since sliced bread, or Betty White, as I like to say. She was a professional, spoke to us like we were humans capable of everything that was thrown at us, and paid super close attention to detail. The music for the show is hard, like really, really, really hard. And I must say, some of my reasons for, hating it at first was because I sincerely thought I was inadequate to be in the show. And the music is absolutely gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I grew to love it, but it was really, really, really freaking hard. Maury Yeston composed a moving score that easily swayed all of us to love this show. And a big part of why I loved it so much was because we created, all of us, a safe space for friendship. And also with the leadership of our new director. We were in it. We loved every minute of it. To this day, it's the closest cast I've ever been a part of. We truly, truly loved each other and created a special home for all of us to be ourselves in. You know how hard that is to feel like yourself as a teenager and safe and accepted? Oh my gosh. I'm feeling all the feels just thinking about them. Shout out to the cast of Titanic 2011. All of the love to you guys, always. You hold a very special place in my heart. So back to the story. Despite all the drama and the death in the show, there was one big dance number, the latest rag. Now, being a dancer, this was my wheelhouse. I couldn't wait to cut a rug on that auditorium stage. And my character that I so was thrilled to play got to crash the first class passenger party. Alice Bean was the fangirl of 1912. It was very fitting because I was obsessed with the Jonas Brothers back then. Still kind of am, don't tell anybody. She has a whole section of the prologue to herself called the First Class Roster, in which she raps, much like the witch in Into the Woods. But instead of beans, she's dropping beats as gossip about every rich and famous person that walks onto that ship. The latest rag took place on the first class only deck. So as a second class passenger who really wanted to be one of them, I got to cause some ruckus. And the best part was that I got to comedically dance with my sweet friend, JP. He was the sweetest guy around. Rest in peace, JP. We miss you. I just took a moment of silence. I'm back. I'm a very emotional person. I'm feeling all of the feels right now, guys, so bear with me. I promise. There is a conclusion to this story other than feeling. So when it came time for our performances, I was most psyched about crashing the party. The latest rag was the last bit of joy before we all had to go through a collective traumatic experience of hitting an iceberg. Hey, I stopped the movie when the guy who plays Dr. Whatever in the Fantastic Four spots that thing. Playing this out on stage and taking on the histories of these real people was heavy for my empathetic heart. And one night, one of my very good friend's moms came to see the show. When everyone was saying their congratulations and whatnot, I'll never forget this. She said, "You did a really good job, seriously. I didn't know you can move like that." Those words pierced me. I couldn't believe my friend's mom was saying this to me. She didn't know I've been dancing my whole life, and it's very possible that she didn't mean it like I interpreted it, but I was a young and hormone-filled teen, and my entire life I've been heinously judged on my dance ability because of my physical appearance. Why? Because I wasn't skinny. I didn't fit the dancer image. I was a fat dancer. I was plump in high school, and to this day, as you can tell, is still a battle. But when I heard those words out of someone I admired and who has been kind to me, I shut down. The impossible body standards the dance world pushes on young girls came flooding back to me to punch me right in the fudging heart. All of what I fought throughout my dance life, and I started when I was 2 years old, was confirmed as a battle I would be fighting for years to come, and most likely my entire life. Impossibility standards are no joke. The pressure pummels you into the ground. Dancers have to be tall and skinny and protect and perfect. And the reality is, you're feeling shame for something you will never ever be able to attain. And sometimes it's not blatant insults. It's the subtleties of looks and passive comments and the size you wear. Perfection doesn't exist. There's always something that someone is going to pick apart. And what does it do? It leaves you feeling worthless and not enough. When I became a dance teacher, shortly after high school graduation, so shortly after Titanic the musical, I thought about this "I didn't know you could move like that" comment as a flash in time. I thought about my friend group, the cast, and the community we built. This was a moment in my life that pushed me to my why, my purpose, my calling, my higher self, my future self. My punched heart beat so strongly for the little girls I was about to teach for the first time. I never, ever wanted to make them feel anything less than enough. That's what it comes down to. Feeling you're enough in a world that always tells you you aren't. I wanted them to be fearless and go after all of their dreams, dance or not. Their dreams were theirs to chase, and they should be able to chase them. I wanted to be a loving confidant, someone they felt comfortable to go to. And since I was a teacher, these kids saw me as a role model, whether I wanted to be one or not. I didn't have a choice. I made it my mission to cultivate that sense of support and community I felt in my senior year in high school. I didn't win the musical grandma, wise and all-knowing Yoda award for nothing. Thanks, guys. That's why I do what I do, for the hearts of kids and dreamers like you everywhere. And when I moved on from teaching, it wasn't because I was done. It was because I knew this was something way bigger and more important than myself. So I wrote my children's book, Bella the Bucktooth Ballerina, to encourage little girls, or anyone who reads them, everywhere, that they can reach for their dreams. I did, and I found success while believing that I was enough to do it. Now, don't get me wrong, the road to believing you're enough is long, winding, hard, and took tons of inner work. It's something I still work on, and it's not easy, but if there's a will, there's a way, and I found a fudging way. Anyway, that's my weird, most likely long-winded Titanic theater story. Now, if you have any questions for me about the story or anything in general, send them in. I'll drop a link in the show notes. And also, it really helps me out if you rate, like, and subscribe to the Sweet Madness podcast. So don't hesitate to go ahead and take some action on that. Also, I want to know what your dreams are. What is your dream? Let me know. Send me an email. Follow me on Instagram. I'll drop the socials in the show notes as well. Oh, and merch. I can't forget merch. I wear this really comfy Sweet Madness tee that makes me want to cry when I have to take it off. It's my lounge shirt, my home from work shirt. On it goes. I should probably put it back in the laundry, but you know, what's one more day, right? Check the show notes for the merch link and drop a rating or click that subscribe button so I can keep doing this for you. This podcast thing is fun and I'm having a great time. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good one. Send hello, and remember, there are always sweet things happening in the madness. See you next time.